Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
Washington Post World, November 23, 12:01 America, New York. Peng Shuai's courage reinvigorates calls for a Beijing Olympic boycott. There had been calls for a diplomatic boycott for months. Now, after the Chinese tennis player's disappearance and reappearance, some say that isn't enough. Washington Post World, November 23, 7:16 America, New York. Spanish researchers allow others to make their COVID test. Spanish government researchers have agreed to allow other manufacturers to produce their coronavirus antibody test, a move that could significantly boost testing in poor countries with limited COVID-19 surveillance.
November 23, 7:09 America, New York. There's power in that fear. Andrew Cuomo looms in the race to replace him. More than 3 months after he resigned in disgrace, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo exists in political limbo, not completely written off as a spent force, but sidelined as the campaign to replace him heats up.
Washington Post World, November 23, 7:08 America, New York. Pakistan disputes India's claim that pilot downed F-16 jet. Pakistan is rejecting India's claim that an Indian pilot shot down the Islamic nation's F-16 fighter plane in 2019.
November 23, 7:07 America, New York. Bidens to revive family's Nantucket Thanksgiving tradition. The Bidens are expected this week to revive a long-standing Thanksgiving family tradition that goes back to 1975, opting to spend this year's dinner in Nantucket, Massachusetts.
Washington Post World, November 23, 7:06 America, New York. Germany sees increase in reported domestic violence in 2020. Authorities say Germany saw a 4.4% increase in known cases of actual or attempted violence against domestic partners last year, the vast majority of them against women.
Mirror World News, November 23, 7:04 America, New York. Woman who spent £40,000 on fertility treatment over 11 years becomes mum to twins at 50. Manda Epton, from Sydney, Australia, embarked on a fertility journey alone and spent over £40,000 in treatments. She is now the proud mum of twins Chloe and Freya, 3.
Washington Post World, November 23, 7:03 America, New York. Rights groups demand ICC probe into Libya migrant abuses. Human rights activists have sent a dossier of evidence to the International Criminal Court demanding an investigation into abuses of migrants in Libya that they argue may amount to crimes against humanity.
Time, November 23, 7 o'clock America, New York. Forget about the accent. Lady Gaga is tremendous in House of Gucci. Possibly the best moment in Ridley Scott's Rococo a go-go true crime drama House of Gucci is the one in which the brash, ambitious young typist Patrizia Reggiani, in pursuit of Maurizio Gucci, the shy and charming heir to the old money leather goods empire, writes her phone number in bold strokes of lipstick on his motorbike's windshield.
RT World News, November 23, 6:47 America, New York. Consumers can now order cannabis via Uber Eats app. People in Ontario have the opportunity to make click and collect orders of marijuana via the Uber Eats app after the food delivery service entered partnership with a legal cannabis retailer. Washington Post World, November 23, 6:39 America, New York. Tourist bus crashes in Bulgaria, catches fire, killing 45 people, including children. 7 people who jumped out of the flaming bus near the village of Bosnik survived.
November 23, 6:27 America, New York. La Niña to batter Australia with rain in a wet and windy holiday period. Australians are bracing for a wet and windy summer for a second year in a row as meteorologists said Tuesday that a La Niña weather event had formed in the Pacific Ocean.
PowerPost, November 23, 6:25 America, New York. Speed bumps aren't likely to stop Powell's Fed nomination. Lawmakers in both parties backed Powell's renomination on Monday, but there are signs his climate record and his ethics will come up in Powell's confirmation hearing.
New York Times World News, November 23, 6:24 America, New York. The latest COVID surge, and how to make sense of it. Travelers in Houston. New York Times World News, November 23, 6:24 America, New York. The latest COVID surge, and how to make sense of it. Travelers in Houston.
Mirror World News. November 23, 6:13 America, New York. Office workers scream as 6 feet, Godzilla-like, lizard tears into workplace. The workers in Koh Samui, Thailand, had a nasty surprise when the massive lizard ran full speed into their office in the middle of the day, leaving some to flee the room in terror.
RT World News. November 23, 6:12 America, New York. European Court rules against Turkey in mass legal action. The European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, has ruled that the Turkish government violated the rights of 427 judges who were detained following the country's failed 2016 coup attempt, accusing officials of unlawfully holding them.
November 23, 6:11 America, New York. Analysis. Support for gun control just hit its lowest point in almost a decade. In the wake of the 2018 mass school shooting in Parkland, Florida, a new generation of teen activists emerged who insisted that the old boom-bust cycle of gun control politics in this country was no more. Fox World News. November 23, 6:10 America, New York. UN whistleblower fired for calling foul over China as Blackburn slams China's malign influence at world body. A whistleblower who warned her bosses at the UN Human Rights Office that China was getting information on dissidents coming to speak at the world body has been fired.
Washington Post World. November 23, 6 o'clock America, New York. Pandemic aid, paid sick leave, protecting health workers. Trudeau to outline agenda in throne speech. The address typically provides an overview of a government's agenda, but rarely the nitty-gritty details of how programs will work or how much they'll cost.
Mirror World News. November 23, 5:58 America, New York. Man obsessed with body modification chops off fingers in mission to become Black Alien. Warning: graphic content. Anthony Lofredo is hell-bent on his mission to transform his appearance, having already split his tongue, cut off his nose and covered himself in tattoos and piercings. BBC News World. November 23, 5:56 America, New York. Peng Shuai. China says tennis star case maliciously hyped up. As questions remain over the tennis star's well-being, China insists it is not a diplomatic matter. Mirror World News. November 23, 5:50 America, New York. Terrifying moment: Christmas revelers plunge into river as street collapses. At least 30 people were plunged into a river beneath a pavement in Joinville City in Santa Catarina, southern Brazil during a traditional Christmas performance.